Hey Rasmanites, how's it going? I hope this angle is okay. I am trying out my repair work on the flip, so this is the first time I've used it since the lens got a crack in it. So again, I apologize if it's a bad angle or a dirty lens or anything. This is the first time I've used it. I'm just trying it out. Also, if you hear any background noise, it is because they're doing the repair work, the maintenance work that they do around the outside of my apartment complex once a week today. And I can never plan to shoot around that, to film around that, because I never know when they're going to do it. So, yeah, I apologize if my dog reacts to that noise or you hear that noise at all. I hadn't planned on doing another video for a while, as you know, from the video that was posted a couple of nights ago, but Robbie Webster just hit the 1,000 subscriber mark and is doing an awesome contest with tremendous prizes. So I had to come on here and give myself an entry. But I do want to continue to get your feedback on the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 commentary. So make sure if you haven't seen that video that you go back and give it a look and post your thoughts on that down below. Now, I've rambled on too much. Let me get into Robbie's contest. Robbie want to know our top 5 favorite films of all time and why. So I have mine here, and I'll get into them. At number 5, we have a film from last year, and yes, it's that good that it already made my top 5 list. It's Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The reason that this is now my number 5 favorite film of all time is that I truly do feel like it's the film that defined my generation. At 31 years of age that I am now, this is the film that had everything I grew up with in the 90s and 2000s in it. The video game obsessions, the comic obsessions, the superhero obsession, all of it was in this film, and all while trying to get the attention of a pretty girl. I mean, who doesn't have that issue? So, and then there's the creator of the comics, Brian Lee O'Malley, and all of his personal life experiences and innuendo in the film, which just make it one of the greatest things I've ever seen. So if you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, do yourself a favor and check it out. At number 4, we have the Back to the Future trilogy. If you don't know the story behind the keep cases, I'll quickly repeat it if you didn't see my birthday and Christmas haul video. The Region 1 packaging for this sucks, and I had trouble getting the disc back in place once I took them out because there was no holes for the packaging. So the only thing I could do to keep the Blu-rays from getting damaged is to place them in 3 keep cases and place the Blu-ray slipcover over top of it. But the Back to the Future trilogy is a trilogy, yes, but to me, it's one continuing story. To me, even though it wasn't originally intended to be a trilogy and was originally supposed to be just one film, I think that you can't really watch Back to the Future knowing that there's Back to the Future 2 and 3 now and not feel like, even though there's different things that happen in 2 and 3, that the film isn't one continuous story, especially when you consider that they go back to 1955 and into the first movie in the second film. And the second film ends right for the premise of the third film, and Doc wouldn't be alive without the third film. So to me, they all go together, and I've just loved them ever since I was a kid. Who's not fascinated by time travel? The acting of Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd are tremendous. So yeah, that's my number 4, Back to the Future, the trilogy. At number 3, we have Phil Aidan Robinson's Field of Dreams. In my opinion, the greatest sports film ever made, but the greatest story ever told that just has sports as a backdrop. is what I was trying to say. Baseball is nothing more than the backdrop of this film, and it's actually a very character-driven film, and the characters are what suck you into it, and it still gets to me to this day. I did a review on it a while back for my film Changers in Life and Television series. Life Changers in Film and Television series. Got a little tongue-tied there. So if you haven't seen this film and want to know more about it, go and watch that review. But I absolutely love Field of Dreams, so Field of Dreams is your number 3. At number 2, we have Ridley Scott's 1982 sci-fi epic Blade Runner. This changed the realm of science fiction. It created a future that was more based on reality. It made you feel like this reality could actually happen someday. And the replicants in this film are more human than the humans in the film. And it's just one of the greatest stories ever told, one of the best visual movies ever made. I don't know what else I can say about it, but it's been one of my favorites since I first saw the director's cut as a kid. So, Blade Runner is my number 2 favorite film of all time. Sorry if there was any angle change there. In typical Flip Ultra HD fashion, the battery died before I could finish this video. So, yeah, Blade Runner is my number 2. And I know people are probably killing me out there saying Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. Yes, Star Wars is the greatest sci-fi film of all time. Yes, there would be no sci-fi without Star Wars, but this is my personal list. And for me, Blade Runner had more of a personal effect than Star Wars. But that's not to say that I don't love Star Wars, because I absolutely do. And finally, your number 1 film on my own personal list. To me, the greatest film ever made. Christopher Nolan's epic masterpiece, The Dark Knight. What makes this the number 1 film of all time for me is 3 things. All things which all of you probably know, but if you don't because you're a new subscriber, I'll reiterate. Number 1, I am a Batman freak. I have read Batman in comic and graphic novel form pretty much all my life, and he is my number 1 hero ever since I was a kid. So I have loved everything about Batman, and I always wanted a Batman film done right, with all of its principal characters, mainly the Joker. If you're going to put the Joker in a film, have the Joker be done right as well. So Nolan did Batman right, and then Batman Begins, and then he threw the Joker into The Dark Knight and combined it with the greatest performance of all time from Heath Ledger, which is reason number 2. In my opinion, Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker is the greatest character ever in the history of film. There are some people out there, an extreme minority of you, who probably think that Ledger's performance in the film is overblown because of his death. But if you think that, you've never read a Batman comic or a graphic novel in your life, you don't understand the nature of the Joker, and you don't understand just how brilliant that performance was. It had nothing to do with his death. All his death did was make it incredibly sad that he couldn't reap the benefits and the fruits of his labor and enjoy the most well-deserved Oscar, in my opinion, in the history of cinema, for Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture. And the third and final reason that I think this film is the greatest film of all time is just because it does everything right. Acting, directing, special effects, cinematography, everything that makes a film great, characterization and everything I forgot to mention. When you look at film, when you're inspired to be a filmmaker like myself, or if you're just an avid film watcher, and that's the reason that you are subscribed to members of the YouTube film community. The bottom line is you have a deep appreciation and affinity for the art that is filmmaking. And this is the only film that I've ever seen. There are probably others that probably have done it. But to me, this was the first film on a personal level that has ever done everything right. I cannot find one single flaw in this film, and that to me is why it is the greatest of all time. With that, I hope all of you, especially you yourself, Robbie, enjoyed this entry into Robbie Webster's 1,000 subscriber contest. I will be back with the Razman's Reality. We will be doing a full episode in the next video, whether or not this one worked flawlessly or not. If we have to go back to the webcam, we will. But the next full episode will either be Dollhouse Season 1, Episode 12, or the opening of Ryan Chataway, R. Chataway 87's package that he's sending me. So stay tuned, and with that, I'm out.